Hey guys, so I thought I'd bring a interesting video today, and we'll talk a little bit about social distancing and a industry that I think could strive if social distancing becomes kind of our norm. You know, we are a social people. We like to do a lot of gathering. Not me particularly, but the majority of people do. And so this kind of has hurt, this crisis that we're in right now has kind of hurt a lot of businesses. And if it continues on longer, it's going to hurt a lot of things going forward. And if you look at this chart right here, you can see things that are not allowed. Gatherings of 50 plus attendees, youth sports, leisure hobbies, social clubs. I'm not going to go through all of them. Concerts, trade shows, movie theaters, gyms, things of that nature. Food and beverage restaurants and bars and things like that. What is allowed: grocery stores, gas stations, libraries, pharmacies, hiking trails, RV sites, campgrounds, rental cabins, and state parks. This seems weird to me that this is allowed. Massage, physical therapy, and acupuncture. That seems a little odd. But, these things that are allowed, there could be some opportunities here. Now, what do I mean by opportunities? Right here. RV sites, campgrounds, rental cabins, and state parks. And there's a few stocks that you can get exposure to in this industry, and I'm going to go over quite a few of them. And first one is going to be RV manufacturer Winnebago Industries. They are the smallest, I believe, out of the publicly traded ones anyway. They own quality assets. They are trading at a trailing PE of 9.86. What that's going to be going forward, I don't know. Obviously, the RV industry, recreational vehicle industry, is going to suffer with any kind of long-term or high unemployment. All these will. But this is a bet on the future, remember, of permanent social distancing. So you have Winnebago. They are, as far as publicly traded, they're probably at the top of the food chain as far as quality goes. They have beaten estimates quite a bit lately. Fidelity has them. They do have a small dividend of 1.44%, but that payout ratio of that dividend is very low. So you're looking at 13-14% of that payout ratio. They're going to announce earnings on June. They just announced the dividend, which I'm kind of surprised at. But their C-suite of officers and everything have agreed to reduce their pay, and they have plenty of cash on hand. Last I looked, they had about $120 million of cash on hand, so they should be able to weather a short-term storm. Next up is going to be Thor Industries, and they also are in the RV industry, the vehicle industry. They are about twice the size of Winnebago, and their C-suite employees have also reduced their base salary to zero. Some of them actually. They do have plenty of cash on hand, just like Winnebago. Thor, though, is a little bit, I think, a little more messy than Winnebago. Winnebago is still more of like a smaller, more nimble player, more of a family-owned type. And Thor is just let's pump them units out and get them out the door. And with that, since some of you know that I want to be retired in an RV, Thor has one of the worst customer service records. Now, I don't know whether that's due to the amount of units they put out. Since they put out more units than Winnebago, they get more complaints. I don't know, but you hear nothing but mostly horror stories out of Thor Industries. They do have a strong dividend payout of 3.81, but that dividend payout ratio is in the 35 to 45% range. They are also going to announce earnings on June 8th, and they did announce their dividend here just a couple days ago. Next up is going to be for those that have high risk tolerance, and that is Camping World. Now, Camping World is the dealer, the main dealer actually for Thor Industries, and they're tough. They're tough. A lot of you guys know Marcus Lemonis. He's a little iffy, and the way he's ran Camping World, there's some big time issues, kind of the same issues that Thor has as well, as far as customer service is concerned and things of that nature. They have a 6% dividend yield. I don't believe that's no, that might be true, because they've been paying out dividends and then special dividends, and I don't know why, because if you look here, you got earnings declining, missed earnings, and they continue to pay out that dividend. And if you look at the payout ratio, you got 119% and negative 20%. They're going to announce earnings on May 11th. I imagine that to be hurt really bad right there. But, Camping World at $5.92, if they can weather the storm, they may have to borrow some money to weather the storm, but they are a humongous dealership network for recreational vehicles, the number one in the country, and they have a whole bunch of different little products too, that membership type products that bring in revenue. And they also bought Gander Mountain, which is a sporting goods store. I don't know how well that's gone. I haven't looked close enough, but Camping World, for you ones that have a little bit more risk tolerance. Now, the next one is an interesting one, and one that I've always wanted to buy into, and I'm really looking at it closer now, and that is ELS. This is a REIT. It's called Equity Lifestyle Properties, and they're a mid-cap. They do pay, it is a REIT, so that PE ratio is going to look high. They do have a yield of 2.34%. And their payout ratio is kind of high, but it's a REIT, so that's kind of normal. They're going to announce earnings on April 20th, and what part of their portfolio is campgrounds, and they own the Thousand Trails and a couple other campground, I guess call them companies. But just in the Thousand Trails, they own 189 campgrounds around the country. And from what I'm hearing is they're doing a ton of improvements and expansions of some of these campgrounds to accommodate more people. So they are, I think, forward-looking in that they think like I think, in that camping and getting out in nature and family vacations are going to increase once we see the other side of this. Now, the last one I want to talk about is an indirect play, and that is Berkshire Hathaway. This is probably the safest play out of all of them, because you're talking Warren Buffett. I can't believe they got a PE ratio of 5.5. That is crazy, but they do not pay a dividend. And Berkshire Hathaway owns a bunch of businesses, and one of the businesses that they do own is called Forest River. And Forest River was once a part of Thor Industries, and Warren Buffett bought Forest River from Thor Industries. And Forest River has some of the biggest brands out there. They're it seems to be the norm in the RV industry that, of course, quality is not there, and some of the work conditions are not there, and Forest River is not immune to that whatsoever. There's been a lot of controversy in Forest River, but they do own and they do make some high-end things. They cover the gamut. They go from low-end travel trailers to high-end diesel pusher motorhomes that are, $400,000 or $500,000. So, and the biggest one I think is called the Forest River Berkshire. So that's one other way to play the new social distancing future, if you will. And I think the longer this drags out, if some of these companies can survive the storm, I think we are going to see an explosion once we've gotten the mental reprogramming of people to stay away from each other, and they're going to start looking for additional ways to entertain, travel, vacation, and spend time together. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.